What's up, Trinity students? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Blake Wright, and I'm the Student Ministry Director at Trinity Lutheran. I just have a little devotion to do with all of you. Hopefully it encourages you, because I know that it definitely encouraged me this past week. Tonight's encouragement comes from Mark chapter 4, verses 35 through 41. Some of you may have heard this story before. It's about how Jesus calms a storm. I'm currently reading through the book of Mark, and this story just always seems to hit me whenever I read it. It's just so cool to see and compare the different ways that it's told throughout the Gospels. I think so far, my favorite rendition of it is definitely from Mark, just because Jesus is kind of blunt. He just kind of says things straight up, and I'll explain that a little bit more after we read it. So, here we go. On that day when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. And other boats were with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" And he awoke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. He said to them, "Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great fear and said to one another, "Who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Now, I love this story for a couple different reasons. First and foremost, Jesus went down into the stern of the boat and fell asleep on the cushion. It shows me that Jesus loves naps. Guess what? I love naps, so maybe we could just call it a spiritual gift. I don't know. If Jesus took them, it's got to be something. But the reason that I could see him going down and taking a nap is because previous to this story, Jesus was out teaching parables, different parables, and we'll get into parables eventually. But he was doing a lot of teaching, and big crowds would come to see him. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're an extrovert, then you love to be around people. You love big crowds. It's something that gives you energy. But if you're not, you're somebody that's introverted, which means that you just like to be alone. You'd rather read a book and hang out by yourself, chill on YouTube. Anyways, you can just imagine how tired Jesus was after talking and teaching and being in relationship with so many different people. Have you ever had those moments where you've been around people and it's just been so draining? Like, you know that you just have been around people for too long. That's how I imagine Jesus feeling. So the more important parts, so they all get in a boat to cross the sea, and the next thing they know, this big storm appears. Now, the disciples were worried and they didn't know what to do. So in my mind, I agree with the disciples. First thing that I would do is go and talk to God about it and be like, "Hey, God, will you come calm this storm?" And so that's exactly what they do. They wake up Jesus and say, "Hey, there's a storm that's coming. We're scared and we don't know what to do." But I don't know what disciple had to throw in, "Teacher, do you not care that we're perishing?" I feel like that was the first mistake on the disciples' part. Anyways, Jesus gets up, he comes out, he does his thing, rebukes the storm. Then this is my favorite part of the whole story. He says, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased. There was a great calm. Now, it doesn't just say that it was calm. It didn't just say that the water stopped pouring into the boat and the storm stopped. It says that there was a great calm. Now, when I think of a great calm, I think of the morning. Nobody is hustling and bustling. Everything is quiet. The world's just waking up. Even more so in relation to the story, when you look at a lake in the morning before any boats are on it, it's almost like a piece of glass. This is how I imagine what the great calm was after Jesus woke up and calmed this storm. I think the harsher part of this story is that Jesus confronts the disciples. He asks, "Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith?" And it goes on to say that the disciples were filled with great fear, and they also said to one another, "Who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?" See, I think Jesus was really showing the disciples that he was God. He was showing them that, hey, I am with you, and I'm here to teach you, and I'm here to live life with you. You don't have to worry. And truth is I think up until this point, the disciples are still kind of questioning, who is this Jesus guy? So this story is a defining moment in their relationship. Today, I don't know what you're walking through, but I know that this is a fearful time for most of us. There's storms happening nonstop going on around us. And sure, some of them are more present than others. But it's in these moments that we really need to press into who Jesus is and be reminded of a story like this where Jesus woke up and set a great calm upon the waters. Now, I've never been caught up in a sea storm before, but I have seen the lake on a windy day when there's white caps forming and there's nobody out on the lake just because it's too dangerous. And so maybe for you, right now, your life looks like that. It looks like a lake filled of white caps. Tonight, I want to encourage you to fix your eyes on Jesus rather than the storm or the white caps that are happening within the lake. Because in the same way that a great calm came over the sea that they were traveling on, Jesus wants to bring a great calm to the chaos of the things that you are fearful of. The last part of this story that I noticed is that once the disciples awake Jesus, Jesus doesn't get out of the boat. We know that Jesus can walk on water, so in that moment, he could have just gone out and ran to shore and said, "See you guys, you're on your own." But that's not who he is. Rather, he got up and he said, "I'm in this with you guys." Be reminded that Jesus is with you. He loves you and he cares for you. He's not gonna leave you. He's not gonna jump out of the boat through the chaos and the trials and the storms that you might be facing right now. He wants to bring a great calm and peace to the storm that you're walking through. So right now, let's shut off this video, take 5 minutes to go in prayer and just turn over those fears of the storm that might be going on in your life. Invite Jesus into it and ask him to bring a great calm to it. Have a great week.